How were supplies moved through WW1 trenches? Have you ever wondered how supplies made their way through the muddy, dangerous trenches of World War I? This was no easy task, and it involved a complex system to keep soldiers equipped and fed. Let's break down how this was accomplished. During World War I, the movement of supplies was a major logistical challenge. The static nature of trench warfare meant that troops were often stuck in place, requiring a steady flow of essentials like food, ammunition, and medical supplies. Each day, frontline soldiers needed these supplies to stay operational, regardless of the weather or enemy actions. At the heart of this supply system were railways. Railways transported large quantities of goods from factories and ports to areas close to the front lines. To make this process more efficient, narrow-gauge trench railways were built. These railways extended the existing rail network right up to the trenches, allowing heavy materials to be moved more easily. This was especially important in areas where the ground had been damaged by artillery fire. Once the supplies reached the railheads, they were loaded onto horse-drawn wagons, motor vehicles, or even carried by hand. Horse-drawn wagons were particularly important in muddy conditions or where the terrain was too damaged for vehicles to pass. While motorized transport was increasing, it was still limited by the harsh conditions of the battlefield. By the year 1916, it was clear that each infantry division required about 1,000 tons of supplies daily. This included food items like bread and meat, forage for horses, coal for heating, mail, and spare parts for vehicles. Supplies were organized into divisional packs and sent by train to railheads near the front. From there, they were collected and distributed further along the supply lines. In the trenches, supplies were moved through communication trenches. These narrow passages connected the front-line trenches with the rear areas. Soldiers and support personnel often carried supplies by hand or used small carts to navigate these routes. Maintaining these supply lines was essential since front-line troops could not leave their positions to gather supplies. The entire supply system resembled that of a small city. It required careful planning and coordination by military headquarters. The static nature of trench warfare allowed for the development of these supply networks in advance, but the scale and conditions still presented ongoing challenges. In summary, supplies in World War I trenches were moved through a combination of railways, horse-drawn and motorized vehicles, and manual carrying along communication trenches. This system evolved as trench warfare progressed, reflecting the demands of a prolonged conflict that required constant support for millions of soldiers.